नमस्कार, मैं हूं कोच श्वेता और 10 न्यूज लाइव के सभी दर्शकों का बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। आज हमारे साथ एक बहुत ही खास मेहमान जुड़े हैं। ही इज नोन एज अ मैन ऑफ मेनी सीजन्स बिकॉज उनका जो एक्सपीरियंस है, उनका जो तत्व उनके पास है, जो जितने गुण उनके पास हैं, उनको किसी एक एलिमेंट में, किसी एक शब्द में पिरोना बहुत ही मुश्किल है। तो इसीलिए उनको कहा गया है मैन ऑफ ऑल सीजन्स, बिकॉज बहुत वास्ट एक्सपीरियंस, बहुत ही खास एक परिचय लेकर वो हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं। प्रोफेसर हैं, डॉक्टर हैं, डॉक्टर दिनेश खुराना, जो कि आईआईटी में भी पढ़े हैं। नमस्कार सर, वेरी वार्म वेलकम। इंडियन नेवी में सर्व
Thank
भी
you very
किया
much.
है। वन ऑफ द बेस्ट एमबीए इंस्टीट्यूट से भी पास आउट है, वहां का भी एक्सपीरियंस लेकर आए हैं। ऑथर भी हैं, एजुकेशनिस्ट भी हैं, रिफॉर्मर भी हैं, क्रूसेडर भी हैं और फिलेंथ्रोपिस्ट भी हैं। तो मैं इसीलिए कह रही हूँ कि किसी एक लफ्ज में मैं इनकी जो इंट्रोडक्शन है उसको बांध नहीं सकती हूँ। सो थैंक यू सो मच फॉर कनेक्टिंग विद अस सब। आज आप हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं, तो हम शुरुआत करते हैं सबसे पहले कि आपका जो सफर शुरू हुआ है आईआईटी से। लोगों में बहुत ही नॉट जस्ट की क्रेज है, एक एक चार्म है उसका, एक प्रतिभा है उसकी, एक आईआईटी का अपना एक रुतबा है, और स्पेशली आईआईटी रुड़की का बहुत ही खास नाम है, खास पहचान है। तो हम शुरू करते हैं आपके शुरुआती दिनों से कि आईआईटी रुड़की में आपका क्या एक्सपीरियंस, क्या लर्निंग्स रही, क्योंकि आज हमारे साथ हमारे दर्शक जुड़े हैं आपसे सीखने के लिए, आपसे समझने के लिए, आपके साथ थोड़ा और जानने और आपके एक्सपीरियंस के जरिए अपना भी एक्सपीरियंस बढ़ाने के लिए।
I joined IIT Roorkee in 1971 to do my MSc in Applied Mathematics, wherein astronomy, astrophysics was my specialization. तो मेरे वो 2 साल IIT रुड़की के बहुत ही मेमोरेबल हैं, because Roorkee, as you rightly said, is such a university that during my time, maybe even now also, all the students of the university could play some game or the other simultaneously in the entire campus. और मैंने भी बहुत सारी गेम और शुरू की और अच्छी पकड़ भी रखी ली मैंने। और उसके आईआईटी पास आउट होने के बाद मैंने इंडियन नेवी में कमीशन लिया जुलाई 1974 में।
सो नेवी आपने जब 1974 में ज्वाइन किया, हमारे सूत्रों के मुताबिक आपने वहां से प्री मेच्योर रिटायरमेंट भी ले ली। तो क्या वो वजह थी? क्या आपका did you feel that there is another calling for you? Did you want to do something else? Was it something that you really enjoyed, or you wanted to do totally something different out of Navy? I mean, what was the reason? How come from IIT you joined in Navy and then took premature retirement? What was the reason for that?
Very interesting question. Navy was another great experience right from day one till I was there for 20 years. अब नेवी से प्रीमेच्योर रिटायरमेंट का रीज़न मैं अभी इसलिए बताऊं, वैसे तो नेवी gave me all the promotion in the first look. I am grateful to the Navy, but I was involved in various projects. Those projects were tactics, legal system of the Indian ship construction, which is going on in all the shipyards of the country, and of course human resource planning. So इन सब चीज़ों का मुझे एक्सपोजर इसलिए मिल जाता था क्योंकि हम जाने जाते थे एज IT एक्सपर्ट्स, एंड आई वाज ए पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट ऑफ ऑपरेशनल रिसर्च ऑल्सो, जहाँ पर मुझे नेवी ने भेजा था एज ए स्पॉन्सर्ड कैंडिडेट टू दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी और उस कोर्स ने मेरा शायद काया पलट दी या मेरा पूरा कोर्स ही चेंज कर दिया, क्योंकि एमएससी ऑपरेशन रिसर्च जब मैंने दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी से किया तो कोई भी प्रॉब्लम जब आती थी, इट वाज आई वाज एबल टू apply both my experience as well as academic learning which I got from both IIT Roorkee and later from Delhi University. नेवी छोड़ने का एज ए सेड एक ही रीज़न था कि थोड़ा सा लगता था कि आई एम नॉट एबल टू पब्लिश माई पेपर्स, लगता था कि थिंग्स आर classified, cannot be published outside. So one of the reason was that I wanted to come out and play on a bigger canvas than confined to within naval headquarters.
Quite interesting, quite interesting. लेकिन देखिए, what I can say is that you made your vision and you knew that you had to be on a different mission to reach the end goal, which speaks a lot about your management skills. So you're not just an IT person, I would say. You're by core, by heart, you are a management person. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that could be a reason. You also joined, before joining Indian Management Institute, you also worked with Amity University. You were director IT department, if I'm not mistaken.
No, you are not mistaken at all. Yes, I was heading an institute, information technology and communication. It is still there, and I worked as a head for 2 years, and later I thought that human resource planning I can do more justice than IT, because as you grow old and IT was growing so fast, it was difficult to keep pace with the technology. So I wanted to come out and join the business international business school of MIT University, and wherein I taught for 2-3 years human resource planning and other human resource subjects. My aim was to implement whatever was being taught to the students. After MIT University, I got a chance. It was a God sent opportunity. I joined IMI, where I found a large number of top scholars in their own fields with whom I could interact for any problem if the problem had a multidimensional nature. So that was another thing which I gained from IMI, where I was member of two areas, human resource, and second was operations management. So it was a very hectic, great learning experience, being a member of two areas, attending the meetings, and taking courses of both the areas. And thereafter, the interest got awakened, especially for writing. Actually speaking, writing interest was inculcated in me by a publisher called Sage Publishers. So they used to come to us to give their sample of books, and somehow their senior people uh, rather told me, rather coaxed me that, sir, you have been teaching for so long, why don't you write a book on human resource planning? And there is no book on this subject. And they gave me all the support, be it secretarial, be it journals, specialized journal which I wanted. They published my some papers also. And beginning of this book, human resource planning, started in when I was there. I think the year was 2016 or 17 when I started writing. And my all these chapters were reviewed by them. And then when this COVID COVID uh, came in, then it was a stagnation. because sage people told me that they are unable to sell my book, unable to reach the business schools because most of the business schools were shut, and when they would reopen, that nobody knew. So somehow I completed the book, and I got another publisher who got my book published from Amazon. And I would say the book has still not reached the students because after the COVID, online learning took the front seat, I would say, important seat, and where the students could learn without going to the institutions. Uh, After writing this book, I my aim was basically to implement HR planning, not only writing the books and the papers, but to implement it. So now my aim was to basically not only teach to the students, but apply this human resource planning for the country. Why country? Because India is a huge country. It's very difficult to make a start, how to start. And a lot of research went in, and also my PhD thesis was also in the same subject, and techniques, especially of operation research and statistics, were applied. And I'm looking for an opportunity now to apply this human resource planning for the entire country. If you permit me, I'll give you a small glimpse of this book. Some videos are there already in the YouTube.
Certainly. Please do that.
Right from the beginning, when the infant is born, when the child is born, something or the other the government has to do. Maybe you need maternity centers, the child grows, and again the requirement comes of play schools. In rural India, we call it Anganwadi, and he grows further. We need schools, good schools, and after maybe 7, 8 years of formal education, we have to find out the interest of the student. The interest could be in academics, interest could be in one of the skills which he is interested, or it could be anything, could be sports also, could be any hobby also. So in our country, unfortunately, though it has start has been made, but we are not able to train our people with various skills so that they become productive, first for themselves and then for the country. I give a very simple example that Sundar Pichai, Nadella, etc., they went abroad and they made their names in the world. The reason was they were given the environments. When they were given the environment, they could grow faster and bigger. And India, we have to do something of this kind, or maybe even better, because Indians by nature are hardworking. Indians by nature are spiritual. Indians by nature have mathematical skills. So, with all these, though I have traveled the entire world, maybe North America, Europe, Asian countries, and I found that blend of qualities which you find in the Indian students. I should not say that I not be taken as a biased, but I found that are very difficult to match our children, our family system, a great support to the children. And when they grow up, the support stays. And even if the students start working, they become the earning member, they make sure that they send money to their parents, to their younger brothers and sisters, so that they also could grow and make their names. So today my aim is to make this subject so big, especially by implementing. The roadmap is there, but the problem is very big. It needs a few dedicated people. It needs a little bit of support by visiting at various places. The start could be made from the DM level or even SDM level. And each unit. We have about 800, approximately 800 districts in our country, and they all have to work for the same thing, but in their own districts. And later on, we can integrate all their data collection and model, which we call it mathematical model, to make it for the entire country. Today, if somebody asks how many children are there in the age group of 6 to 7, it's difficult to give answer. In this book, gives the answer if a child is transferred out from a district, maybe he goes to some other district, some other state, or even abroad. So the entire system should be able to monitor him. What is he doing? Just like which happens, the same way it happens in Europe and North America. They gave the SIN, they call it social insurance number, after a student attains the age of 12, and this social insurance number stays with him or with her for the entire life. So though we have the Pehchan Patra, we have the identification documents, but those documents need history to be written for each student, especially after attaining the age of 12 or 13. In USA, they call it SSA, Social Service Administration. Rather, they have given to the private agencies to to monitor the citizens of US wherever they go, whatever they do. And that is why they're able to plan so beautifully their, especially immigration policy. Wherever they find they are short of expert people, they import them. They import them because they have the money and the higher remuneration interests the students or even the working people. So they migrate. So when they migrate, so their system is quite good, delivering, going very fine. And the students or the people, those who come from the other countries, if you take in a positive sense, they also take part, get wealth of experience. We have to create atmosphere so that they come back and they feel they are serving their own motherland, their own country, uh, because many things they miss once they go abroad and start working there. Here, they will be like a plant which grows naturally in some environments. So, our people, when they come back, so they will find those kind of plants or trees which grow in their own natural environments. I think I've tried to cover whatever Shweta ji asked me. If something more is required, I'll be happy to share.
No, no, no. Our main aim is for our youngsters, for aspiring professionals, especially with your book, even those people who have not read your book. But now your book is primarily aiming at people who are either studying the management or the ones who want to get into it, and even the ones who are practicing already this profession. So, what is it the real takeaway that you would want to give them? That your practical advice, not just some bookish advice. Now that you have had the experience of IIT, you've had the experience of serving for Indian government, for the Indian Navy. You've had the practical experience of even being with the MIT International University, then studying and being part of that mastermind of IMI. So, what is your take? What can a student look forward? What do you think is something that they're lacking, what they're not getting right? Because if you notice, students are pretty much lost. They don't have that much of clarity in terms of what they should be doing, how to pursue their future course, what kind of profession to take, what should be that deciding factor as per you. What is it that you would want to know them to be successful?
Yes, I underline takeaway. You see, when you teach this subject in the business schools, especially the HR students, maybe others also, they first feel interested that yes, it is possible to control the entire human resource of India. Then you see when they pass out from for they pass out and get the degree MBA, they may not be matured enough, they may not have enough experience to comprehend the problem on hand. As they experience in the industry or even government of India, because some of them join all India services also these days. So when they get the experience of the government, the private, today you see the private industry is sending a good number of employees at the what we call lateral entry, joint secretaries, directors. So when they bring in the private industry or the private sector experience and gel it with the government experience, that is the thing required because technology application is more in the private sector. The problems are complicated problems are more with the Indian government. So what you require is a combination, which I would say the present government has already started. When the people come from private sector, work in the government sector, so they basically train others, they help others. Even the ministers, you see, when they come from a different environment, different backgrounds, so they are able to understand the problem very clearly and able to implement. Shweta's question was the takeaway. You see, takeaway in the beginning is just a knowledge. Now, as you grow, you find out what are the areas interest you. Maybe, maybe the career planning of the entire organization you are more interested in. Maybe human resource planning you are more interested in for the country. Maybe for the corporate sector also. If the company is very big with lakhs of employees, so they also require basically human resource planning. So if you work for a corporate sector, maybe for a big company, you get a feel of it. Yeah, I have done it. Let me now share my experience of implementing this was first with the Department of Post because when I was in the Navy, a call came. I don't know if our papers were published or somehow the Indian Postal Service people came to know that we have done a good job. They call it at that time manpower planning or human resource planning. So when the call came, our chief of naval staff at that time was Admiral Nadkarni, now late Admiral Nadkarni. So he called me and my director, and I was very junior at that time, a lieutenant commander. And CNS asked both of us that I find the the stream is going other way around, is going ulta. Generally, we ask for the help from the civil government for a complicated problems of this nature. And now I am finding that they are asking for a help. So he asked us very clearly, can you do it? So I told my director, I myself also said, yes, we can do it. So that thing was done, implemented. It was publicized in Financial Express, all the newspapers. Their report was distributed, I think, every office, every ministry of the government of India at that point of time. And then you see, a feeling came, a confidence came. If you can do for 6 lakhs, you can do for 1 crore also. If you can do for 1 crore, you can do for 150 crore also. So that kind of a feeling when comes in, then you see, I cannot stop. You have to go further. The problems become bigger and your knowledge base also becomes bigger. And aim is to apply it. If you keep applying in the corporate sector today in one corporate sector or one department of government of India and tomorrow another one, basically you're doing the repetition. But when you apply for take up a bigger problem, and that is the test that yes, it can be done. Especially now with the technology available, uh, everyone has the mobile phone. Even in my case, reaching to the channel is through the mobile phone only. So mobile phone is no more an instrument to ring up somebody or receive the calls. In fact, has become more so big that telephoning is maybe just a minuscule or a very small 0.01 percentage of the total utility of the mobile phone. So today the entire data can be on the mobile phone. Today you can understand from the mobile, as I'm reaching you, you can understand the book by sending the doubts. Maybe if you are stuck somewhere, it can be resolved. So I think I tried to answer. Okay, sorry. Takeaway for practitioners. You see, it's a very common that we hire consultants, and they are called practitioners. They take up a job, complete it, document it, deliver to the organization, and they become wiser by doing more and more projects. What I basically want to emphasize is that takeaway for practitioners is what they do, that we are seeing it. But inside the government, first you have to define a big problem so that a practitioner can understand the gravity of the problem. So that definition of a problem can only come if you have that kind of a understanding or that kind of a hold on the problem. Then only you can define, I want this, I want this. The deliverables should be this. Input, whatever is required, is available with us. Only question is the time. So time can be decided by discussion. And here, one thing I want to put it that human resource planning, people always thought it is a mundane subject taught in the institutions, the universities, the business schools. Then students forget about it. It is not so. Uh, when you see the the problem becomes bigger, as I said, uh, definition becomes also difficult. But when the technology is available, it eases our problem to an extent. It eases our solution, problem solving to an extent that we find that more things are being done by technology, and you are only basically conceiving and planning, and things are coming out automatically. So, takeaway for the students, takeaway for the practitioners, takeaway maybe for the government of India, all are different. But only thing is, the understanding of the problem should be the necessity.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I mean, I think it was pretty elaborate, and I'm sure students as well as the practicing professionals have gained a lot of insight with this conversation and the valuable nuggets from Professor Dr. Dinesh Khurana. And now, one thing which I was, while you were talking, and I was thinking about one thing, that HR, it is only the either the department or the community is trying to create a lot of difference, is trying to create a movement, because somewhere, somewhat, the full potential has not been understood of human resource. What's your take on this, and how do you think HR is contributing? Somewhere, I think you underlined one thing, that even the government of India has something to take from the HR practicing. So, what is it that you would want to add? What kind of role do you see HR playing in changing uh, the professional arena around us? or do you see it more than that? What's your take on it?
Again, a very great question. You see, as the size of the country grows, the importance of human resource planning becomes bigger and bigger. I'll put it more simply. Let's say for a big organization employing lakhs of people, the top man is doing more of human resource placement or planning or transfers or promotions rather than anything else. Because human resource take the front seat. If you are not able to get the right people, if you're not able to retain your people, then that organization cannot give the quality output. Especially for government of India. Why I'm saying, see, government of India is also like a company. You assume that government of India is a big company. And the number of people are actually the population. And I said the planning at every stage, in the beginning, play schools, formal schools, maybe the junior school, senior schools, then in between. That actually can be decided maybe after 8th class or 9th class or even little earlier or later to find the interest of the students and send them in that direction. There is no point doing history, MA in history and PhD in history when you're not interested. There's no point doing getting a lot of degrees with you and you flaunt your degrees and say I'm not getting a job because you have not worked in the area where you are interested in. You have done actually, you got the formal education, formal degrees just to please others, just to please your family people that I am very highly educated. Today, education is not by degrees. Education is by experience. More experience you gather, more experience you implement, more experience you uh, acquire with every passing day, you will find you are becoming more and more educated. Just by flaunting your degrees, you cannot say that I'm highly educated. Sorry. No. Here, Government of India is a big company, biggest company you can think of. All departments are there, like in a big company. Big company thinks of profit making, thinks of innovating so that they can reap more profits. Whereas in the case of Government of India, the prime motive is the welfare. Welfare means that whatever children or whatever grown up or whatever students or whatever old people, whatever they are doing, they should be happy, whatever is being provided. As I said, after your school skills, how many medical colleges are required, how many diploma colleges are required, how many ITs are required, then how many people should come out from there. These all have to be done on a common grid. You can't do it separately. If suppose the Medical Council of India is thinking about the medical colleges, not understanding the other sectors of the country, other sectors of the economy, their calculation may go wrong, may generally go wrong. So we need to plan the entire problem on a common grid. Not only medical, not only engineering, not only scientists, not only chartered accountants. You have to plan for professionals separately, skills separately. You see, in some cases, the skills are more in demand than the professions. It happens. And new skills keep entering. And old skills start fading away. They start going away. So this kind of a thing, the Government of India has to be alive. What are the skills are required today? I give you a small example. Uh, I was one of the consultants for MCD, Municipal Corporation of Delhi. So they said there are 1.25 lakh people, those are useless. I said, why useless? So they said, because the skills they have got are no more in use today. Because photocopier person, there are so many photocopiers, their job is to do photocopying, and now that skill is not required because everybody does the photocopying on his own computer. So again, retrain. If the government has to think ahead, if you find that skills are going to disappear, you have to retrain the people in some other skills or allied skills so that they remain productive and don't become uh, obsolete for the organization. They don't become useless for the organization. And if they become if you declare them useless, they are the troublemakers. They are the people they don't let others also to work. So that's why I said the prime and the most important uh, the government of India does is the welfare. So if the welfare is done as per the planning, you will actually when I use the word planning, it means you have to do it on the grounds, not only on the piece of paper. Now I would say, uh, just to sum it up, that human resource plan is like a moving car. It changes its position every minute because children are born are coming in, new children are coming in the world, oldies are going out of the world, going for eternal journeys, and people are changing their posts, people are changing their stages. Maybe today you are bachelor, then you are married, and then you have got children, you are looking out, you are more concerned about your children than yourself. So all these things actually happen every minute. But no plan is possible which changes every minute. But with today's technology, it is possible to make it online. Online in the sense that, but difficult to basically to maintain it. Online is possible, but it is difficult to understand. So we normally take them into a unit, like in a school. When the children are admitted to a nursery class or KG class, you take unit as 1 year. 1 year means that all those who are born in a particular academic year are put together, or as if born on the same day. Some may be a few months senior, some may be a few months junior. It makes a lot of difference in the initial classes, but as you grow old, this difference disappears. So unit of time is required. Like in the school, you have taken 1 year. Maybe in the other sectors, that unit of time can be a month, can be a quarter, can be 6 months, depending upon how closely you want to monitor your HR implementation, human resource plan implementation. So that is possible today. Maybe 20 years back, it was not possible. Everybody thought that it is only a paper exercise. You can't implement it. But gone are the days. If you can, if you can uh, carry out the vaccination during COVID for 80 crore people, it answers all the questions. All the myths are gone. They disappear. All the myths disappear. And if you can do for 80 crores vaccination, so this planning is also much more important because that vaccination is only one time shot or two or three shots. In the case of human resource planning is for the entire life. So if the model is there, the uh, automation was done when the organizations are small, but today you need bigger automation, you need uh, bigger staff, you need bigger data collection. Though data collection is going on, but there are many areas where data collection is required to monitor the entire system or entire human resource plan of the country. I hope I have answered your question.
Thank you. Thank you so much for taking out all the time and really giving these insights, which are so very useful. I'm sure हमारे दर्शकों को बहुत बहुत ही ज़्यादा आज की इस particular discussion से benefit हुआ है. I'm thanking you once again, Dr. Dinesh Khurana, and hoping to see you brightening lives of others and showing them the way forward for the right human resources. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Prana. Thank you.
Thank you very much.